This video is all about planning your story and using the narrative story graph, something that you should be familiar with by now. Our learning intention today is to understand how to use the story graph to plan a narrative, and at the end of the video, hopefully, you will be able to understand the structure of a story and to use the story graph to plan your own story. And here's what it looks like. Nothing new, something you've already seen before. So the basic elements are sizzling start, backfill, pebble, rock, boulder, exciting ending, and the character wrap-up. If you notice, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 boxes. So that should equate to 7 paragraphs. One common mistake that I have been noticing a lot is in your plan, people are writing in full sentences like they would be writing their first draft. Now, this story graph is really only dot points and notes. It's a skeleton picture of your entire story. And to show you what a good one looks like, here's one I found on our 7 Steps website. So it's all about the Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, or the Philosopher's Stone. And if we look at the sizzling start, you notice it doesn't start with the writing, it starts with their plan. So it's going to start with a moment of change. And this change is that Harry is neglected and lonely and badly treated by his relatives, the Dursleys. Then on his 11th birthday, a giant appears to tell him he's a wizard and he will be going to wizarding school. That's the plan for their sizzling start. Then it goes into the backfill. So this is the who, the what, the where. This is all that a bit more boring information, but it sets up your story for the future. So the who, that's the characters. The what, well, what's going to happen. And the where is the setting. Then from the backfill, we go into our pebble, our small problem. And in a story like Harry Potter, there's lots of storylines and events and action that's happening. But the main small problem was that on Ron and Harry's adventures, or the first one was they start a fight with a troll who attacked a fellow student, which was Hermione. And then after they defeat the troll, those three become best friends. Then the next medium problem, so the rock, was after a fight with Malfoy, who is like Harry's rival or nemesis. The three friends discover there is a vicious 3-headed dog guarding a trapdoor. And then they surmise that something valuable is hidden underneath that trapdoor and they want to find out what it is. So it's gone from a small problem of just being attacked by a troll to a larger problem to having a 3-headed dog guard a trapdoor, and then it goes on to the boulder. And this is where one of the professors has been acting strangely and he is trying to steal the Sorcerer's Stone. And it turns out that this professor was actually Voldemort, kind of being possessed by Voldemort. And that was our exciting ending. Harry discovers that Voldemort is back, and he's the main bad character in all these Harry Potter movies. He's back. There was a battle between Voldemort and Harry in the cellars where this dog was guarding. Dumbledore arrives just in time to save Harry's life. So it's a build-up of tension all the way to the ending. And then, this is another bit that students often forget, is the character wrap-up. So after that exciting climax ending, what happens next? So after that, well, Harry, Hermione, and Ron are celebrated at Hogwarts. Harry goes back home to the Dursleys for his vacation, and he feels like Hogwarts is his home. So this is what a good story